Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Art Like Everything Else, the podcast. In this podcast, we use art to talk about literally everything else. I'm your host, Mo, and this week we're going to be talking about perseverance. So, the concept of perseverance, the word essentially means to kind of keep going despite hardships. So, with that being said, I'm going to be using two works of art to kind of discuss the idea of perseverance. And so, let's get started. Alrighty, so our first piece for this week's discussion is actually going to be the song World Didn't Give It to Me by Shirley Caesar. So this song was released in 1975 as a part of her album. That album is called Be Careful of the Stones You Throw. And so that was released in 1975 along with some other folks. I am going to be focusing on this song. So the song is roughly 5 minutes, so feel free. I have it linked in the description. Go check it out. Come back and we'll talk about it. I am going to be talking about some of the lyrics though, so if you don't listen to it, I'm not going to sing the lyrics the way it was sung in the song, so it'll still be a really cool experience to check out the song if me talking about it makes you want to kind of go listen to it. So yeah, for this song, some of the things that are really pertinent to this conversation that I feel like this song in general kind of encapsulates this idea of perseverance with a lot of the lyrics it used, and some of the discussion that happens in the song. So the song is a gospel song, and so it's religious, and you can kind of hear her talking a lot about and giving credence and focus to her faith. But some of the lyrics in this song and the discussion in this song that I think is really important and kind of speaks to the perseverance is she uses lyrics like, "This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away." And in this song, she also, she kind of, in one of the breakdowns, she's talking and she talks about how there are things in life that people can't take from us, that a robber can break into your house. They can steal all your stuff, but there are things that they can't take from you. And so I believe, at least my interpretation of it is kind of if you look at all the hardship you're likely facing, there are things that can't be taken from you that you can hold on to in order to keep going. So in this song, she's using the joy, she's using the Holy Ghost, she's using love as these things that are helping her and enabling her to be able to persevere. All of these things that she is getting through her faith, and that often other people can get through other ways. But this is what she's using in order to persevere. And I think being able to kind of find ways to persevere despite what's going on around you is going to be really, really important. And something else I think this is just kind of a fun fact, at least for me. But yeah, I was first introduced to this song from a protester from one of the protests that was happening, I believe, last summer. They were singing this song specifically while at the protest, and I thought it was really powerful as a song, and in that moment to sing this very song specifically. So I thought that was really, really cool, and listening to it, it's kind of what inspired this topic, because sometimes there are going to be days when you want to give up, days when you feel like everything has been taken from you, but there are things that has not been taken from you that you can hold on to and that you can use to kind of inspire you to keep going. And I'm going to elaborate that in our conversation. But first, I have another piece of art that I feel would be really good for this conversation. So let's hop right over. Alrighty, so for our next work of art, we're going to be talking about another song, and this song is called We Gon' Make It by Cordae, and it features Meek Mill. So in this song, the song was released in 2019, and it was released on Cordae's project, The Lost Boy, and I really enjoy it, and I highly recommend it, so you should check it out. So with that being said, and back to the topic at hand, this song, I feel also does a really, really good job of talking about persevering and getting through even very difficult times. And we hear that all throughout the song with Cordae and the help of Meek Mill. And so in this song, they're both kind of discussing like difficulties about existing and living, and some of the things they've had to go through or had to like experience to get to this point, and how they're not going to give up even though they have gone through all of these things. In the very beginning, Cordae is kind of relating to the listener about how he knows what it's like to go through difficult times and to feel like you want to give up, but to not give up. Like, keep being that dream chaser, keep going after, don't give up on your dreams, is something he quite literally says in the song. And I think that's really, really powerful. He also talks about how much help we might need or might crave, or need is honestly the best word, because when you need help, it's not so much as a craving as like quite literally can be like life or death, but like needing resources in order to survive, and looking at and seeing kind of what that looks like for them, and how like not having those resources could make you want to give up and not want to keep going. But they persist. They keep going, they keep trying, they keep going for what it is that they want, which is success. They want to get past whatever like messy area or event that's kind of going on that makes them feel like they're not where they're supposed to be. And then in the chorus, Meek Mill is singing the chorus. He's talking about how folks didn't believe in him and how things are hard, but he's going to make it regardless. And I think that's a really powerful message, because that essentially is what perseverance is. The idea that you will make it past whatever's in front of you, that yes, things are hard now, but you will make it past this, and that you're going to keep pushing to get past this. And then Meek Mill's verse, which is, I mean, there's only two people rapping on the song, so like his verse is like, if I had to rank all of the verses, his verse probably is my favorite just because of the message. He uses, I'm actually going to read some of the lyrics because I think they're really powerful. He says, I was drowning in my past like when Katrina broke the levees in New Orleans. Every move I make like chess, it's important. I just went against the system, spending nights trying to reform it. Lay at night thinking I could lose my life just from doing this. It's a sacrifice. I know it wouldn't be right if I forfeit, but I do it for the young kings that never had no voices. And I thought that specifically was so very important. And it's probably where the bulk of like the inspiration for this conversation came from. Like this idea of perseverance and why I think it is so, so important. But yeah, and Cordae in his verse right after that is just kind of continuing to express the same sentiments about how giving up is just not an option, that we have to make it through this, that we have to keep pushing, we have to go forward. And that's the whole point of today's conversation. So let's have that conversation. Alrighty, so for today's conversation, I want to talk about perseverance. It is important to not give up, because I feel like giving up is easy. And giving up and not pushing through towards trying to see what it is on the other side of those dreams that you so desperately want to see, I feel like we'd be doing ourselves a disservice. And I think perseverance is important because we need to see it through to the other side. We need to not give up because we deserve to be here. Like, sometimes you have to find very specific motivation. Like with Shirley Caesar in her song, The World Didn't Give It to Me. We have to remember that there are things that the world did not give us, and so the world cannot take those things away. The love you have from your community, from those around you, the joy you get from the art you make, the lives you've touched, the people who are important to you, those things, the world didn't give you those. You got those for yourself, and so the world can't take them away. And so sometimes it's going to require us to have to find faith or find, motivation in other sources. Because sometimes the very idea of pushing through some really, really tragic events it can make you feel helpless. It can make you feel like nothing you do or nothing you try is ever going to be enough. And you can feel like existing in and of itself, it could even be considered pointless. But that's not the case. And that can't be the case, because we have to remember that just because things are difficult, just because things are hard in the moment, it does not mean that things will always be hard. I think it is okay to have faith in a better future, even when things look difficult now. And I actually encourage you to do so. So I encourage you to have faith in a better future than what is just right now. And I believe faith or motivation to keep going, personally, I would consider that to be a part of the perseverance itself. Because to persevere, you first have to believe you can persevere. And then something else that really stuck out to me, especially in the song We Gonna Make It, when Meek Mill talks about how he doesn't persevere, he doesn't keep going just for himself. His motivation is the community around him and the people who are looking up to him. Because that is something I think about very often. As someone with young people I care about, with people younger than me I care about. I have nephews who I want them to be able to see and exist in a world that is still here for them. It's like, I don't do this just for me. And even for those who aren't me, who I don't know, I would like to be an example for people who want to believe in a better future. And so maybe they don't feel like they can do it for themselves, but I want to be able to model that it is possible. I want to be able to show that, like, believing in a world that is not endless, that is not hopeless, is possible, and that we can see a future and we can have a future where joy is possible, where success and kindness and peace is possible. And I believe it is important to model that behavior for those behind you, for the generations to come after you. It is important that we not just live for ourselves, but live for those whose future we are helping to create. Like, we exist now, and all the actions and the things that we're doing and contributing to is building and creating the future for those behind us and for those coming behind us. And it is important that we make sure they know that it is not only possible to push through these tough things that we might be going through, but that we can believe in a better future and aim and strive for this better future behind us. Because it can be really, really depressing to not feel like, or at least to feel like all that you do is pointless. And so we need to show that it's not pointless, and that it is possible for us to get through these hard things and see good and have things that are good come out on the other side. And we need to kind of make that reality possible. And it's not going to be possible. Like, if I could save the world single-handedly, I absolutely would. But I know that because we are a communal people, and because that it's going to take a collective effort in order for us to see the futures that we want. And the futures that we want is going to require a lot more help and a lot more dedication. So yeah, maybe persevering and pushing through and creating a life worth living, not just for ourselves, but for those we care about and those coming behind us, too, can be an art. An art like everything else. Last and certainly not least is this week's All Moment. So for this week's All Moment, so for those who are new to the podcast, the All Moment is just a piece of art of the week that I thought of while creating this episode. And so for this week's All Moment, I'm going to be talking about the movie The Pursuit of Happyness. So for those who haven't watched it, this is a movie that was released back in 2006, and it starred Will Smith and his son playing. Will Smith played a guy named Chris Gardner. And so in this movie, we see Chris Gardner going through so many struggles. He's down on his luck and he's trying to make ends meet for the sake of him and his son. And in this movie, because I don't want to spoil it in case anybody hasn't seen it and want to go see it, it is a really good movie. It's a really touching and powerful movie. But like he's going through struggle after struggle after struggle. And he's really trying to make ends meet because he has a son. He has a kid he wants to take care of. He wants to make sure his kid is good. And in this movie, you see it happen. You see him on the verge of giving up, wanting so badly to give up. But he doesn't. He perseveres. He keeps going. He keeps pushing. He keeps striving for a better future. He keeps trying. And because he does that, we do see a light at the end of the tunnel for him. And I think that that is so important. And like, it's just an example that sometimes it will feel like existing or like persevering through the hardship seems almost impossible. But there is going to be and will be a reality that things will be okay, and that pushing forward and pushing through and doing what you can to make ends meet and keep going forward is going to be important, because we have to keep going. Like that, I think, is going to be one of the most important parts. And if you think about it, like actually, this is kind of a wild thought I just had, but like one of the scariest things I think about early humans that I've read when it comes to early humans being hunters is that their stamina, from what I've read, is like really, really good, in that like being able to travel for long distances, and being able to continue and keep going proved to be a bit of a threat for those who, for like wildlife and stuff. And so I think sometimes we have to think of our own goals and the things we want to see accomplished as that. We just have to pursue it relentlessly and keep going and keep trying until we get to what it is we are trying to see. And so that's all I have for today. You can follow me on socials at The Lovely Infinite. I'm going to have it on the screen. And that's on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you'd like to follow me on just the page here, so and where all of the updates for all of these things, this content, and all future projects are going to be, that's going to be Art Like Studios. So ARTLIKE Studios, STUDIOS. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. Like, subscribe, download the podcast, and let me know in the comments what you think of today's episode and what's one motivation you have for persevering through these hard times. Yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for being. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.